Going on, everybody? How are we doing today? Today is a good day. It's day before Thanksgiving. What do they call that? If it's Christmas Eve, then it's Thanksgiving Eve-ish, right? Anyways, super stoked. Been working out in the yard today. A little sweaty, but you can't tell, can you? No, you can't. How we all doing? What's going on, YouTube? What is happening today? What's going on TikTok? We're not streaming on Instagram today. Misplaced the phone, but that's okay. We'll find it later. So, yeah, what's going on, Wrangler01? How the heck are you? YouTube looks like it's finally starting to come to life just a little bit. What's going on, Daniel Chim7 DevTGP? I like it. Cool. Um, if any of y'all are coders or anything, what stack are you working with? DevTGB, GP, are you a coder since you have the word dev in your username? Let me know. Let's make some noise, YouTube. Let's see what's happening over here. We're going to keep it casual today. It's, day before the holidays, so a lot of people are doing their own thing. So we're gonna, be on here for another 27 minutes talking about code. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jason. I'm a full stack developer here at DevSlopes. DevSlopes is a learn to code company. And so I get to work on a lot of cool full stack projects. I primarily work in the MERN stack, Mongo, Express, React, and Node. And then DevSlopes has different online boot camps. So for an example, we've got the Web Academy. So I'm the Web Academy instructor, mentor, coach. And so I have the pleasure of working with students every day, helping them learn how to code and then how to take those skills that they've worked so hard for and put them to practical use and make money with it. So really cool stuff with that. My job's not done until my students get paid. All right. So today's topic, eat or code, eat, sleep, repeat. That's pretty much the life of a developer. But yeah, so I work with beginner developers all the time, and I get asked all the time about, where should I start as a beginner developer, or what technologies should I be learning here, and whatnot, or maybe you're stuck and don't know what to learn next. So if you have any questions like that, go ahead and drop issues on YouTube. Hopefully it comes back. What's going on, YouTube? You're back. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into some of the stuff. So what programming languages is everybody working with? Drop a comment, hurry, so I can continue talking. Just kidding. So like I said, I primarily work in the MERN stack, Mongo, Express, React, and Node. I really fell in love with React. That's what made me really become passionate about programming. I originally wanted to do iOS development. But my first taste at programming was actually web development. So I got into web and then I liked it. And I was like, but I want to do iOS development. So I tested that out, but I was like, you know what? I actually like web development a lot. And before I started out with the mean stack, so I was working with Angular. And then once I was introduced to React, I don't know what it was. It was just one of those, true love at first sight type of things. Fell in love with React immediately. What's going on, Shagin VR? What's up, Abdullah? You just said Python. I don't know exactly what you are trying to get out of that, but Python's a great programming language for beginners. It's got a really nice, clean, easy syntax to it. It has a broad general use to it. You can use it for web development, back-end game development. It's a great scripting language to run different algorithms, and it's the most popular language using with AI and machine learning. Now, with that being said, just because Python is popular, all right, there's other technologies that might fit the shoes a little bit better if you're going down the game development route or if you're doing web development, for an example. So if you're doing web development, I would stick with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, dive into React. All right, and then there's backend technologies. We're not going to dive into that. Python, I really think fits the best with AI and machine learning. It's also good for games. if I was to do games personally, I would use C#. I'd use Unity 3D, and you can build 2D and 3D games. Unity 3D ships with a lot of assets and tools, just makes things just work out of the box a lot more effectively instead of having to do it all from scratch like you would with Python. So, but that's just me. And Unity, it's cross-platform and everything, so you could just do C#, use Unity for game development. Let's see, Sergio Villa, to join DevSlopes, is there a pre-class you have to do? No, there's no pre-class. So the beautiful thing about DevSlopes is it's catered for people who have never literally seen a line of code in their life. I mean, as long as you have some basic understanding about using a computer, you can turn it on, how to download things, you're set up for success. That's all you really need. But DevSlopes has a very curated, guided learning path. So with the Web Academy, for an example, I was the one who built the entire Web Academy. It's like the 16-week-ish, online boot camp, and I'm a self-taught developer myself. All right, so I learned to code like 6 years ago. I did it on my own. It sucked. I went down a lot of dead ends, wasted a lot of time going down rabbit holes, just learning the wrong stuff. And so with kind of my background in like sales and everything, and then I have this kind of gives me a better ability to teach, and then I can teach from a perspective of a brand new beginner, right? Because like I'm a self-taught developer, I went down that road, I did it on my own, and I just find too many times that there are other instructors that they kind of assume that you know something about programming, but it's like, no, you're brand new to programming, so start from the beginning. And so that's what I do in all of my teaching. So yeah, go to devslopes.com/apply, and then you can fill out an application and get set up with a phone call and everything. Just ask questions about DevSlopes. We've got the iOS, Android, and web development academies. It's online. It's really cool because you get mentorship and coaching from me. So I'll work with you personally to help you learn how to code. We've got weekly live student meetups. I will personally review your code and give you feedback on best practices. Before DevSlopes, I was a full stack engineer at Dell Computers. And so I worked at Dell Computers for several years as a full stack engineer there. And I learned a ton of amazing things about programming. And so, now I can share all those skills and practices with my students here at DevSlopes. So yeah, devslopes.com/apply if you're interested in a very curated guided learning path and to work with a mentor and a coach. And we'll teach you everything you need to know to actually be successful in the industry. And part of the requirements to get through our academy is to make money. Like you have to go out and make money. Tell me any other online, boot camp or in-person boot camp that says, hey, in order to complete this online academy, you have to go make money and prove it. And we help you do that. We show you how to land freelance work and apply for jobs and get jobs. So we do it A to Z. It's great stuff. Let's see. What else do we have? We've got some TikTok. I'll get to some of your questions here in just a moment. Let's go says, did you do anything to increase your problem-solving skills? Yeah, so to increase problem-solving skills, it really came down to two things. Building projects. All right, I think that's the biggest thing to start building problem-solving skills, because the problem is, as beginner developers, we spend way too much time in tutorials. All right, when we're doing tutorials, it's great to learn concepts, but you're not learning how to think like a developer and solve problems. And so a lot of times these beginner developers spend way too much time in it, when really you just need to branch off and you need to start going and building your own projects, being creative in the architecture of your project. Figure out how to set up the project, figure out how to Google and to find information and to solve things. And so solving, like building projects and then doing coding challenges is always helpful, just because it kind of pushes the brain to think in unique, creative ways. Let's see, Vox, what about PHP? I see a lot of sites with it. There is a lot of sites with PHP. PHP, it's around. Let's just say that. It's around. I would never learn PHP in my life. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I think, it's been around for like 20 years. There's so many other programming languages that can do the job much more effectively, and has a much cleaner syntax and scales better and looks nicer and is easier to work with than PHP. But yes, you're right. There are companies still using PHP. but you won't find new companies building software with PHP. It's just an old technology. Um, but it can still get the job done. Okay. It still can get the job done. It's just we're in the 21st century. So let's learn something in the 21st century. Let's see. All right. I'm going to take a couple questions from TikTok, then we'll hop back over to YouTube. Let's see. Is there anywhere that shows a breakdown of what each job in tech entails? Let's see. Is there anywhere that shows a breakdown of what each job in tech entails? Usually on the job requirements, it just says, "Hey, you need to know like JavaScript, HTML, AWS. It'll list the technologies that you need to know to work on their software." Let's see. What does a cloud engineer do compared to another job? So a cloud engineer, that's online storage. So they're working a lot more with like APIs and data structures, whereas I guess a front end developer is just building out the UI and then connecting those APIs to the front end to display the data. I kind of look like Travis Scott. Who is Travis Scott? I don't even know. I'm going to Google this. Let's Google it right now so I don't forget. Hold on. We're going to see who Travis Scott is. It better be appropriate. Travis Scott. Okay. Googling. What? Is this Travis Scott? He's a rapper. I don't look like a rapper. However, this hat is a rapper hat. It's Harry Mack. Throw some love in the chats or comment if you know who Harry Mack is. Bought some of his swag here, his merch. He's really entertaining and really cool, I think. But I don't see any resemblance in Travis Scott if this is the rapper who came up when I Googled it. Front end developer in the UK, absolutely. You can do front end development in the UK, worldwide. Do it remotely, wherever you want. Can you write this down, please? I cannot write it down. I'm streaming. Junior jobs in the UK. Okay, so average human 123 says go on Google and type in junior jobs in UK. I would change that search just a little bit and put developer jobs in the UK. Get the junior word out of there. Let the company decide if you're a junior developer or not. So, and this goes if you're a beginner developer looking for your first job, do not Google or search for junior developer positions. Don't get junior junk out of there. Leave it out. Just look for developer jobs and then hit the interview and let them decide if the job works out or not. And here's a perfect example why. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that I worked at Dell Computers as a full stack engineer. On their job listing, when I applied, it said required computer science degree, required 5 years in JavaScript, and required 3 years in React. Well, I had no computer science degree, no college degree at all. All right. I only had 3 years in JavaScript and 1 year in React. And guess what? I got the job because at the end of the day, all the client wants is somebody who can code. And so they asked me the technical questions. I got through that. I got through the coding challenges. They checked out my portfolio. I walked them through my code. They liked the way that I coded, the way that I thought and solved problems, and they put me on the team. All right. And I didn't meet hardly any of the requirements, like for the length of time that they were looking for. So don't look for junior positions or worry about college computer science degrees, okay, because it's irrelevant. Let's see, do you help with employment in the UK as well as the US? So at the DevSlopes Academy, what I do with my students is I show them how to go look and to find work. So what we do is I help them set up their LinkedIn profile, strategize it correctly so it starts attracting the attention of employers and recruiters. And then I teach them how to work with recruiters, how to negotiate salaries, what to expect in the technical interviews. And then if they, fail one of the interviews, we talk about it, kind of what went wrong. We work on those areas, and they're just, they keep attacking it and keep going. And so I work with them so they can get through that. And then I also help them with any freelance work that they might want to do. So they'll get on Upwork or, network with friends, family, whatnot, and build projects. So Caden Potter, how much is DevSlopes? I know we have a Black Friday deal going on right now. I really have no idea how much it is. But go to devslopes.com/apply, and then you can get set up with a free career coaching call. Just ask questions about DevSlopes, the way that it works, different pricing options. I know we have different pricing options, but let me just put it this way. I have students, all right, who have not completed the Web Academy yet, all right? And they are already making thousands of dollars freelancing. And I even have other students who have not finished the academy yet, and they've already landed development jobs. All right. So my point is, part of our requirement and curriculum is to help you go make money, to take your skills and put them to practical use in the real world. And that's pretty cool. I don't know of any other online boot camp or whatever does that. And of course, DevSlopes isn't taking any part of this. We just want our students to be successful. And so I just work with them and say, okay, let's do this. Let's land this freelance project. Let's do this. And they go make money. I just help them make money. It's just part of what we do here at DevSlopes. So it's pretty cool. Glitched, what languages do I need to learn for cybersecurity? Oh, that's great. I have never really dived into cybersecurity. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but that is a fantastic question to go and Google. You should just copy what you put here and slap it in Google and see what comes up. But that's what I would do. All right, YouTube, let's take some questions over here. Let's see, we've got like 11 minutes left. Where are we at? Let's see. Can you help people in the UK how to get work too? Absolutely. I've got students all across the world. I've even got students in the UK specifically. So yes, and they're already doing freelance work. I've already worked with them, and they're doing freelance work. And the specific gentleman that I'm working with, Andre, he's on the verge of getting a dev job already. So it's good stuff. Let's see. I want to create my own site using Next.js, starting off with HTML and CSS. Is coding an hour and 30 minutes a day good? Yes, that's a fantastic start. All right. So you should minimum be coding 90 minutes a day, which is an hour and a half. Okay. Every single day for at least 5 days a week. Okay. Because think about this. When you're learning to code, you're doing a couple things. One, you're learning a brand new language. Okay. You're learning brand new lingo. All right, that is associated with that language. You're learning how to write in an entirely new way with a very unique syntax. And you're also learning how to think in new creative ways, that you've probably never had to do before. All right, so you're learning a lot, which means you need loads of hands-on time on the keyboard slamming out code. This is why I'm not a huge fan of college, because it's so much theory. I see people, I have my own family who have done this, who have gone to college, spent tens of thousands of dollars for a computer science degree, a bachelor's, 4 years of college, and they still don't know how to code. And I have friends who have gone through the same process, and it's ridiculous. So save your money. You don't need to get a computer science degree. But yes, and Next.js is really cool. I actually earlier this year rebuilt the DevSlopes website entirely using Next.js. It was originally done in React, but then I've converted everything to Next.js and using TypeScript this time, which is awesome. Super fun. Let's see. I've been looking for a program with a mentor because there are questions I would like to ask someone with experience. Thank you. Great info. Yeah, Sergio. You know what? Same thing. Same story with me. I was learning to do this all on my own. And all I wanted, I didn't know any other developers. Okay. This was like 6 years ago. I didn't know other developers. And all I wanted was to ask a single flippin' simple question just to get some direction, but I didn't know anybody. So I, wasted loads of time going down rabbit holes and learning things that weren't that important. Let's see. Do I need to be very good at math to start programming on my own, like prototypes of indie games or useful app scripts? You don't need to be an expert at math at all. Basic math, okay? Basic math, addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. That's it. Basic math will be it. Someone says I have a gang hat. No, I have a Harry Mack hat. Harry Mack. Let's see. I'm a Swift iOS developer. I feel this restricts me only to mobile native jobs, as most software engineer jobs are usually backend. Usual requirements are C, C++, C Sharp, Java, Python, or Go. So Joshua, I mean, okay, so I have a family member. My brother is an iOS developer, and he makes like he's a self-taught developer. I think he's been coding for about 4 years now, and he makes like 120,000 a year as a front-end iOS developer. I'm full stack. Okay, I don't make that much, um, but like he just does front end. But so iOS Swift developers, they do tend to make more money. Um, but yeah, obviously going the full stack route, you can also get pay increases with that. But here's the thing: these languages that you listed, like C and C++, like those have insanely steep learning curves, and I would almost say that the niche for those type of developers are more narrow than a Swift developer, and they just have insanely steep learning curves. They're very difficult languages to learn. Um, I don't know. See, all those languages that you listed, this is just me personally, okay? I have zero interest in learning any of those languages. If I was to venture out and learn something new, I'd get better at C sharp so I can work with Unity 3D and build games. And then if I was interested in AI or machine learning, I'd do Python. But honestly, I don't really have a lot of desire to build games in general, and I don't have a lot of desire to get into machine learning or AI. But those are all good programming languages. They're great languages. Just understand the type of stuff you might be working on with those is more enterprise stuff, whereas sometimes mobile apps is a lot funner to work with. Let's see, Pluto, hello. I just thought I'd come around since I'm a little bored. If you remember, I was here talking about the confusion in JavaScript. Still a little confusing, but I learned a lot now and still learning. Oh, that's awesome, Pluto. Yeah, keep at it. It takes time for sure. Like I said, JavaScript, somebody could spend anywhere from like 6 to 9 months in JavaScript before they become proficient in it. All right, I'm going to take a few TikTok questions. We've got about 6 minutes here. So some questions from TikTok, and we'll wrap up with YouTube. Let's see. Let's see. What do you think about MERN in job perspective? Dude, there is huge opportunity to feast with MERN development. So I'm the MERN stack developer. For those of you who don't know, that's Mongo, Express, React, and Node. And there's huge opportunity. That's what we used when I was a full stack engineer at Dell Computers. The particular project that my team was working on was using the MERN stack, and there's so much opportunity in MERN as well. So yeah, it's fantastic. There's so many jobs for it, and it's fantastic for freelancing too. Is it hard to become a front-end developer in the UK? No, not at all. A front-end developer is a front-end developer. You can do it in the UK, US, wherever you want. And the beauty about being a programmer is you can work remotely, which means if you're living in the UK, you can get work here in the US. When I was at Dell Computers, we had an offshore team over in the UK. And so we had an offshore team there, and then we had our internal team at Dell Computers. Sorry, if you guys can hear my dog, she's getting all whiny. She wants me to open the door and let her out. But Luna, you're going to have to wait for 5 more minutes. All right. Let's see. Do you help with employment? Let's see. I answered that. Yes. All my students, I coach them through their whole career prep. Okay, what are your code patterns? How long it took to be comfortable with coding? Okay, so that's an interesting question. How long does it take to be comfortable with coding? So to be proficient in coding, where I thought, hey, I could code stuff, it probably took me probably around 8 to 10 months of coding, where I felt like I could start building projects on my own and figuring things out. But where I felt like I was good enough to get a job, that's a different ball game. Even though I could code stuff and technically I was fine getting a job, I had what all developers have, and it's called imposter syndrome, where you don't feel like you're good enough. You're like, oh well, or like capable. It's like, why would they hire me? I'm a self-taught developer. Like that's exactly how I felt when I got hired at Dell Computers. I had 4 years under my belt at the time when I worked for Dell. And I had worked on a lot of really super cool projects and built some pretty incredible things, in my opinion. And so when I interviewed over there, I was like, why would Dell even want to hire me? Like, I'm self-taught developer, me this, me that. But guess what? They hired me. And so it's imposter syndrome. And yeah, you just have to get over it. Let's see, what else do we have? All right, somebody asked me, Jerry, Larry. I'm going to take one question from each. All right, so I'm not going to be able to get to everybody's questions. I apologize. But Jerry Larry says, what do you think about coding boot camps? Could I get a job? Okay, so here is my experience. So when I very first got into programming, I did an in-person web development boot camp. It was a 12-week program, okay, 12 weeks, 4 days a week for a couple of hours. But anyways, I did this boot camp. Let's just put it this way. There was 15 people that were enrolled on day one. By the end of the boot camp, there were 3 students left, me and 2 others. And here's why. A boot camp, in-person boot camp, is on a time limit. They have 12 weeks to cram all this information down your throat. That means these other students who took a little bit longer to try to grasp the concepts and whatnot, they fell behind, got lost, dropped out because they got frustrated. All right. So in-person boot camps are on a time schedule. They cannot slow down and wait for you. All right. And when I was doing this in-person boot camp, it went so fast. The information flew right over my head. It wasn't until week 10 weeks into this boot camp, where I finally had a few dots starting to connect. And so they move very fast. And I think they're kind of ridiculous because you get in, it's like, oh, I'm going to learn how to code. But then they cram this information down your throat. And then after the end of the boot camp, it's like, see you later. You're on your own. And so I had hundreds of questions left, hundreds of questions after this boot camp. And I was like, I went to this, dots finally started connecting 10 weeks, and then it ends 2 weeks later. And I'm like, I have hundreds of questions. Like, what do I do from here? And so there's online boot camps like DevSlopes. Okay. I'm one of the mentors and teachers at DevSlopes for our web academy. And you've got lifetime access. It's online content, so you kind of cater around your own lifestyle. All right. And then you always have access to me. So do your job, spend time with your family, whatnot. And in the inner hours, reach out, say, hey, Jason, like I have a question with this. I'm stuck here. And so the whole academy is kind of built around your schedule. And then you'll turn in assignments. I personally review them. I give you feedback on your code. And so these online boot camps are a little bit better, but DevSlopes, I'm not trying to sell you DevSlopes, say, oh yeah, DevSlopes, you should definitely do it. But I'm just saying, from a self-taught developer, like I went through that road, did this on or in-person boot camp, and then spent the next almost year figuring out the rest on my own. Like, I wish I would have had something like DevSlopes in the beginning, just a mentor, a coach that I could ask questions to, someone to review my code, let me know if what I was writing was good, and take me down this curated, guided learning path, because I was all over the place learning things because I didn't know what was practical and useful. So again, boot camps, that was like a long answer, but I have experience doing both. And I think DevSlopes is just a really cool opportunity. So if any of you are interested in having some mentorship, codance, or guidance, help learning how to code, go to devslopes.com/apply. All right, let's take a YouTube question, and then we're going to wrap this up. Let's see. Stop pushing the code agenda. Programmers were not born. Oh my gosh. Joe G, stop pushing the code, eat, sleep, repeat agenda. We're not born to sit in front of a screen. Okay, if you want to take that personally, that's fine. Honestly, the only reason that's the title is because I read a meme 3 minutes before the stream started that said code, eat, sleep, repeat. And I didn't know what to call this stream. So that's what I named it. So kudos to you if you take that personally. I apologize. Let's see. John Smith, should we learn about the coding on cloud platforms such as AWS, GCP, and Azure? Look in your area, kind of what opportunities there are for these cloud platforms. But I know that AWS is gaining, I've seen it gaining a lot of traction in the programming industry. So of all of those, I would say AWS, but that's just me from what I've seen kind of trending in the industry. So anyways, everybody, thank you so much for hopping on to today's stream. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving. I'm going to be busy eating and whatnot. So anyways, everybody have a fantastic day. Again, if you want some guidance, work with a mentor, somebody like me to learn how to code, then go to devslopes.com/apply, get set up with a call, ask whatever questions you want about the academy, about me and whatnot, and get your answers. And then if you are brand new to programming or you have experience and you want to level up your skills, DevSlopes has these 30-day coding challenges. Go to 30daycodechallenge.com and enroll in the next challenge that starts here in a couple of weeks. We've got coding challenges for JavaScript. All right. And during these 30 days, you have access to a one-on-one mentor and you have live weekly meetups, and you get to do all these challenges and build a lot of cool stuff and ask questions. So it's really fun to be a part of. So again, 30daycodechallenge.com, and go get signed up for the next one if you want to. All right. Until next time, stay safe, stay positive, keep coding. Adios.